There are many questions yet to be answered in The Bad Batch Season 3, and so I do wonder what will happen to Omega in the end, and could she assume a new important role? Currently we are 5 episodes into The Bad Batch Season 3, and so far it's generally been really good. I have seen a lot of less complaints within the first 5 episodes for Season 3 than I saw with the first 5 episodes of Season 2, which to me indicates that the rest of the episodes of this season, which will be the final season of The Bad Batch, might turn out to be the best episodes that we've gotten in Star Wars animation. Which is a comforting thought to have because we can clearly tell that they know what direction they want to go with this series and what they want to do with the characters now that they're leading into a new era of Star Wars where the Empire is growing ever stronger and things are really changing up in the galaxy for the clones especially. And when you can tell that the writing indicates that they have a clear vision for what they want to do with this project, then it helps for us fans to narrow down a few ideas of what possibly could happen with the characters by the ending of Bad Batch Season 3. So with that in mind, in this particular video, I wanted to express a few thoughts that I had about Omega's future and what she possibly could end up doing once the series is over. And some of the things that I've seen in the community have been different discussions and speculations as to what could happen with Omega or the different characters as well. And they approach different ideas. For example, all of them group up together at the end and escape into the unknown regions and begin a new civilization with clones. Or for example, that they all sacrifice themselves for a greater cause to help build up the rebellion, or that Crosshair sacrifices himself to save the entire group, and or that Tech returns as a mechanical cyborg looking bad guy and they will have to fight in a final last stand against Tech and some sort of calamity will happen during that whole ordeal. From what I've seen, there are a good few thoughts in the community of what may happen, but all of it is kind of filtered down to that one or more of the characters sacrifices themselves to save others, or that they will do something that will help and benefit the rest of the surviving clones that have now been pushed to the side by the Empire. So with that, I do also have a little theory as to what could happen with Omega at the very end. Personally, I do think it would be really interesting, and also it would have been a heavy emotional weight if Hunter sacrifices himself in order to save Omega and also the rest of the existing group. If you have watched Star Wars Rebels, you might remember that Kanan Jarrus in one of the later episodes sacrificed himself to save the rest of the crew. And this was a very honorable and respectable moment in Star Wars, and most of the fans who at least enjoys the animated stuff in Star Wars can appreciate this moment because it left us with a reminder, and especially for Ezra, what it means to truly be a Jedi and what one has to do in order to save those they love. And even though Hunter is no Jedi, he definitely maintains that same mentality towards his crew, as he looks at them as his family, and he's willing to put himself in front of danger before everyone else in the group, and especially for Omega, considering her clear importance for the galaxy and also that he might feel that he is some form of father figure for Omega. And also I do think that Omega look at Hunter as a form of father, even though they are technically related in the sense that they are clones and they are equal in one way. There's definitely still some form of family hierarchy where you have a father figure and you have a daughter, and then you have the other crew, which are the brothers. However, right before Hunter sacrifices himself, he will give his bandana to Omega, and she will wear it as a symbol of respect and also in memory of Hunter. And she will practically wear it for the rest of her life. And personally, I think this would have been truly impactful and something that would have left a mark for us fans whenever we think about the Bad Batch and the ending and Omega as a character and how she grew up with Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and you can even add Echo to that mix, and how she evolved through all of these events that they had to go through, which almost no child in the galaxy will ever experience if you view all the events that Omega has been through and compare it to other children and other people in the galaxy. So when we view that entire spectrum and it concludes with this bandana of Hunter and now being worn by Omega, it symbolizes something much bigger than it just being a simple bandana. It's a representation of what the entire Bad Batch crew stands for. So possibly in light of all that, now that Omega has kind of taken the position of Hunter, Omega will then grow up to become a freedom fighter for the clones in the galaxy alongside the rest of the remaining Bad Batch crew. And as she grows to an adult age, she will become more of the leader of the group and really take charge and try to expand outside of the galaxy, somewhere that we don't really see later in the timeline, because obviously we haven't seen many of the clones in the era of the original trilogy, so they either have to be most of them dead because of their accelerated aging, or that they are in hiding somewhere with the rest of the Bad Batch crew. I can't really think of anywhere else where the clones would be, where they could actually strive and do something good for the galaxy. For alternatively, the other option would be to drink yourself to death in the Coruscant underworld and just grow old there, which some clones might do, but I definitely don't think that the Bad Batch crew would allow the clones to just simply vanish into the galaxy without being taken care of as much as possible. And this idea is definitely enforced by the fact that Captain Rex and also Senator Chuchi and possibly Echo and Commander Cody are working together to group the remaining and surviving clones and trying to do something good about it in the galaxy. But Omega will be the centerpiece in all of this. And if she takes upon this role as kind of the new hunter of the group, but with more of Omega's heart and passion for saving people instead of hurting people, there's a possibility that later down the line in the future of Star Wars, we could see another animated show when Omega is now an adult and she carries on with all of these missions that I've talked about. I think this would have been genuinely awesome because we would have seen Omega as she grew up in the Bad Batch, and then also see what she's up to now that she's an adult, or at least like a young adult around maybe the age of 24 or something like that, and see how she handles this new galaxy now that the Empire is even stronger, or if we push it even a few more years, it will be after the Empire has been defeated and the resurrection of Thrawn is building up in the galaxy. What will Omega do then? It's honestly an open question, but it's a very interesting topic to think about. But I really love the idea that Hunter gives Omega this bandana and it makes her reflect and understand her position and her newfound responsibilities of protecting the remaining and mistreated clones in the galaxy. But I would be interested to know what you thought about this idea and if you think it's something that could possibly happen. So, with all that said, do not forget, the Force is always with you.